Welcome to the Nikki Rich Show. I'm your host, Miss Nikki Rich, and today, guys, we have an exciting show for you. We have a featured guest that's in the house today. And for those who are new, make sure you are subscribing to our YouTube, Nikki Rich, the number two. And also, you can go to our website, thenikkiRichShow.com. Follow us along at The Nikki Rich Show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as I mentioned before, we have a featured guest. Everybody know you've seen him on CBS, NBC, Good Morning America, on Discovery Channel, and he's also served as a Fox consultant. Not only that, best-selling author, businessman, pastor, producer, as well as a father and a husband. So,
Mhm.
with no further ado, we're excited to welcome to the Nikki Rich Show, Mr. Touré. Welcome. How are you doing, Mr. Touré Roberts? How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Nikki. Thank you so much for having me on the show. You made me sound very, very important. but I gotta tell you, what you ended with is what I begin with, and that's being a husband and a father to my kids. That's my life, my world.
that's how it's got to be. Number
Absolutely.
one, you know. Well,
Yes,
we're
yes.
so excited to talk with you today. We know that you have been so successful in everything that you're doing,
Mm, mm.
and I know it takes a lot of balance to do so. It's so much. So tell us a little bit about, how you balance everything out.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think the reason why I wrote about balance is, to your point, because it was an area that I was struggling with in my own life. And
Hmm.
in my pursuit of balance, I realized that balance isn't what most people think it is. What most people consider balance, they're thinking about, how can I divide myself up into pieces to give pieces of myself to the important things in my life. And I realized that that doesn't really work. I can't give 10% of me to my wife, or 10% to my kids. I've got to give them my best. And so I realized balance was not about giving pieces of yourself, but balance was really about becoming all of who you are and the disciplines it takes to get there, and then giving your whole and complete self to those things that matter the most. And so you're right. It was through my own struggle of trying to figure out how to show up well in all these areas that I came to the revelation that's in this book called Balance.
And you decided to write about it and share with others so we can also have that conversation, about other people, the way they balance as well.
Absolutely. I think that balance is something that, most people, particularly if you are accomplished, and even if you're not accomplished, even if you just, you're a mom, you're a stay-at-home mom, or you're a student or what have you. Most of us have more than one thing going on in our lives. And so it's one of those subjects where you never hear people saying, when was the last time, Nikki Rich, you heard somebody say, I'm so balanced right now. I've got so much balance in my life. You never hear people say that. You hear people saying, I'm
Hmm.
trying to find it. And so, I love people. My whole life is about people. And because of that love, and because of what I found to be effective in my own life as it relates to balance, I decided to write this book.
And I think that's amazing, just because it's a struggle. It's a struggle. And with me, I found balance this year, I would say, because I set my goals each year to make changes in our life. That's how you can get that balance. And this year I really focused, because sometimes we don't really focus. And I found, myself just, I would say, elevating by really focusing on balancing, your home life, your business, your health, all these things, your family, and God, putting
Yeah.
God first in everything you're doing. And, I found that balance because I got focused as
Mhm.
well.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you're right. Focus is really important, because life is very distracting. Life is noisy.
Yeah.
When you have, at the right there in your hand, you've got 15 apps and 15 apps to send in 20 notifications. And then you've got, in the book, I talk about how life is so noisy. And then I talk about you have, obviously, well, let's just call it bad noise. But then you have good noise. Good noise, might sometimes be your kids, or might be some of the things that are good things, but they're still prohibit you from taking the time you need to center yourself and get
Mm-hmm.
yourself together so that you can present your best self to others. And so, yeah, you mentioned focus for me, and I talk a lot about focus and how to do it in the book, but focus ultimately is the cure to distraction. How do I, overcome distraction? Focus. It's simple. You just focus, and that's how you overcome. So I love what you said. Every year you set your intentions, you set your goal,
Mm-hmm.
and now you got something to look at, to keep you, hey, look, that doesn't look like what I planned. That doesn't look like what I laid out. So I think
Yeah.
that just speaks to you and your desire and obviously willingness to go to the next level. So
Yeah.
hats off to you.
Thank you. And I love that also in your book, you talk about the power of no.
Hmm.
The power of no. Sometimes we don't want to say no. We just want to keep doing, just saying yes all the time. What is the power of no to you?
Yeah, well, we talked about having vision and we talked about avoiding distraction and what have you. And the reason why no is powerful is because yes is expensive.
Yes.
When you say yes, you're committing your time, your person, your energy, your day. You're committing yourself to something, and that's expensive because if you commit yourself, because you didn't say no, you said yes, and you commit yourself to something that is not your purpose, is not
Mm-hmm.
your vision, then what happens if an opportunity that is related to your vision or your purpose shows up? Well, you don't have a yes to give because you gave all of your yeses out. And so I believe that in life we ought to actually be giving way more no's than we are yeses, so that we will have yeses available for the things that matter most.
Yes, and it also, a lot of people. What I tell people, it's got to align to what you're doing as well.
Hmm.
That's the key. Is
Absolutely.
is this gonna, help me or hurt me or what have you? But it has to align with your goals that you're trying to accomplish as well.
I couldn't agree more. And that's why it's so important to have a vision, to have a mission. Now you don't have
Hmm.
to have everything spelled out because life unfolds. You don't have it all figured out, but there should be parameters. You know what I mean? There should be you should be able to get into the ballpark of what I'm trying to do. Or to you, I must say no.
Must say no if it
Yeah.
doesn't align, guys.
Yes.
And with all, like I said, with all your success, who has impacted you to begin writing in general? With everything you've been doing, who has, I would say, inspired you to want to even start writing down what your thoughts and what you're going through.
Well, initially, my first book was called Purpose Awakening, and I wrote that I wrote it in 2012. It came out in
Hmm.
2014. But I didn't know I was an author until I had someone, a young lady who at the time became my literary agent. She looked at me. She was attending my church and she saw the way that I taught, and she said, "You've got a book in you." And I've got a new agent now. Things, life moves on,
Hmm.
but God will always have somebody around you that will speak to the greatness that's on the inside of you. And
Yes.
that's why who you allow to speak into your life, who you partner with, who you allow access to you, they need to be qualified, because if they're not making your baby leap, you got a baby in you, and and if when you get close to that person, they don't make your baby jump and want to come out and manifest itself, you got to really pray about how much
Yeah.
time you spend with that person.
You do. You really do. And even with Purpose Awakening, I still see, I know you've been promoting balance, but everybody is still talking about it.
Isn't that something? I think
Yeah.
that when you write something, and this is a really good lesson. A lot of times we move on from things that we've done in the past. And I do believe that you should always be going from level to level and growing, but never underestimate the power of something you birthed in the past.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about Rick Warren. You probably heard of Rick Warren, his book, The Purpose Driven Life. That
Mm-hmm.
that that book was one of the best-selling books of all time. It's called The Purpose Driven Life. But guess what? That was not his first book. That was his second book. His first book was The Purpose Driven Church, and wait, no, vice versa. Anyway, some sort of way, it wasn't the book that was he was currently promoting that took off. It was actually the one that he had written previously. And so it's just interesting how that works. You never know what's going to hit. That's why you have to always be birthing. If God gives you an
Yeah.
idea, if something is placed in your spirit, put it out there. You never know what it's going to do, and never think small of any idea that God places in your heart, because it just might be the one that changes the trajectory of your life.
Yes, and I agree. And you can do all things like through Christ that
Yes.
strengthens. And for me, and I know a lot of others out there, putting God first is the key.
Hmm.
That's the key. Putting him first. He gonna guide you. He gonna show you. I would say God and prayer,
Yes. Yeah, I
the
agree.
power of prayer. Because, like you said, it's not gonna always be so easy. You're gonna have things that come your way. Circumstances may arise, but you just keep pushing. But you gotta keep God in you. Put Him first and keep praying, and you'll find that balance.
I completely agree with you. It's so true.
Yes, yes. And also, I wanted to know from you, with this upcoming book, what is it that you want the readers to walk away with?
I want them to understand that a lot of people think that balance is a fallacy, that you could never is a myth. You could never really get there. That's not true. Maybe if you think balance is just a discipline that is somehow going to organize your life, that's probably a fallacy. But I want
Hmm.
people to understand that balance is real. Balance is true. It can happen. And I want them to be unsettled and discontent with being imbalanced. If you think about it, if people say, I need to find balance, and they're always saying that, that means that somehow they have become content with being
Yeah.
out of balance. I have come to discover that your best does not come forth when you're out of balance. Your best as a partner in a relationship, your best as a partner in a business, your best as a parent, your best as an employee or a team member, an entrepreneur. Your best doesn't come forth unless you are balanced. And therefore, I want people to no longer tolerate imbalance and grab a hold of this book and get these tools, get these resources, get this understanding so that they can become balanced, so that they can be the best, blessed, and most productive version of themselves.
Yes, and we got to find that balance. I know it seems like from the pandemic and everything's with what has happened, there's been a shift as well. So we've been trying to find that balance. Okay, what is it that we can do? Because everything's changed. So now I think everybody's trying to find a balance at this moment.
That's right. I agree.
Yes, I think that's what we're doing right now.
Hmm.
But I also, I'm not going to hold you, but I also want to let everybody know that you haven't even released yet, and your book is already a number one release.
Yeah, it peaked about a week ago on Amazon as number one in a particular category. I can't remember what
Hmm.
that category was, but it was a broad category. It wasn't like a Christian category, which I thought was
Yeah,
really impressive.
that's
And
amazing.
so I believe that it's going to do well. And for me, doing well is it being in the hands and the hearts and in the lives of as many people as possible.
Yes, I know your congregation gonna buy it.
They love their pastor. They love their pastor. Absolutely.
Now, will you be having a book signing?
Yeah, as a matter of fact,
Mhm.
on the 24th, that's the Sunday. That's not this Sunday, but next Sunday, I'm having a conversation with Angelica from the Shade Room
Okay.
during service, and I'll be signing books right after that service. So if you're you're in LA area, right?
I'm in LA.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you're available next Sunday, not this Sunday. I mean, you're welcome to come this Sunday on Easter, but of course,
Yes.
next Sunday I'll have that signing, and
Oh, I
yeah,
got to get my book signed.
there it is. I'd be honored to do that.
Yes. And what else do you have next coming up?
Well, my all things are balanced right now, and then as you know, we have a women's tour that's surrounded around my wife, Sarah Jakes Roberts, and so we have a
Hmm.
women's tour. We'll take a little bit of time off after the book tour, and then we're going to go on our women's empowerment tour, which is called Woman Evolve. So I'm gonna be running this year. Pray for me.
Well, that is exciting to me. Well, we looking forward to it. And, everybody, they can also pre order your book. I know you've given also 3 chapters where they can also preview. So tell us a little bit where they can go and pre order.
Absolutely. Well, if they can go to thebalancebook.com, and you're right, when they order the book, we give them the first 3 chapters. So the book will be out 2 weeks from today. So by the time they finish with the third chapter, they'll have their book right there in the mail. They can just continue on reading. So they can go to thebalancebook.com and get all squared away there.
Most definitely. Well, I'm so excited about this new release. I cannot wait to get my book. I'm so pumped up about it, because like I need this, to like I'm just so excited. And we want everybody to get excited, to get ready, to also go out there and purchase as well.
Mhm.
Thank you so much, Mr. Touré Roberts, for being our featured guest. You know, um, so much more in store, not only from writing, from producing to pastoring, to also being a businessman. You have your hands full, but you got balance.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here with you, and I pray just more and more increase and blessings upon you, Nikki Rich.
Thank you so much. And we will make it out there on Sunday, getting ready and go check them out this Sunday, also Easter Sunday, and support. Thank you so much, Mr. Tory Roberts, for being our guest.
Thank you. God bless you.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Nikki Rich Show. Make sure you check out the NikkiRichShow.com. Thank you, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Blessings.
Thank you so much.